right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm your host, Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co host, Jake Ellenbogen, and we are continuing with our 2024 NFL Draft Prospect interviews. And joining us on the show today, guys, we have Mason Fairchild, tight end out of Kansas. How you doing, Mason?
Doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
We're doing well, man. Nice to have a Jayhawk on here. Man, the last Jayhawk we had, I'm not even sure. I think, God, it might have been, was it Mike Nowitzki or Fish Smithson? It's one of them. I don't know. we've had a few, but it's nice to have another one on here. So we're gonna start you off with an easy question here, Mason. If you had to compare yourself to any fictional character of any entertainment medium, who would it be?
Oh wow, that is a great question. Me myself, I'm a Shrek fan, a huge Shrek fan, so I'm gonna have to say Shrek because on the outside, I might seem like this big tough guy, but like he says in the first movie, a lot of layers to me. I'm a guy of I guess culture, and there's just a lot more to me than what meets the eye.
I love that.
Great answer. Definitely a good answer.
Thank you.
Next question. What is a unique talent outside of football that you have that not many people know about?
That's another great question. I invest a lot in football and doing stuff like that. I'd say I'm a really, really good Call of Duty Zombies player. That's probably what I hang my hat on the most once I'm not playing football.
What's your favorite weapon in Call of Duty Zombies?
Ooh, I mean the ray gun is just a classic. You got to go with the ray gun.
Yeah.
The iterations of the ray gun, just kind of all the wonder weapons in general. Just those are my guns.
I'm with you there. Can't go wrong with the ray gun. That old school look, everything. I'm definitely digging that. So I got to ask you, when did you start playing football?
Shoot, I've been playing football my entire life. Just growing up, always watching my older brothers play. I always wanted to be playing. I think first grade, second grade is when I finally started to actually playing. So, but it's one of the greatest things that I've ever done in my life, and hopefully we'll get to continue doing.
And growing up, did you watch a lot of football? And if so, was there any player that you watched that you aspired to be like?
Yeah, kind of like I mentioned, my older brother was in high school when I was, growing up in grade school. So I'd say he was the guy I watched a lot growing up. But, more specifically to like NFL stuff, Rob Gronkowski was the big one, coming from a tight end growing up, getting to see him, in his prime dominating and, just taking his game to so many new levels that, you don't really see from a tight end. So, that was probably the big one for me.
Now, Mason, we were talking about it, earlier off air, how you actually followed me back, back when you committed to KU. But what made you choose to go to Kansas?
Yeah, especially during all those down years for Kansas, being a guy from Wichita myself, everyone wanted to go to Kansas to change the program around. And, there was obviously a lot of guys that came through that weren't able to successfully do that. But, for me to get to be a part of that team that finally got it turned around, that's the main reason I went to KU.
And looking back at your time at KU, do you have a favorite memory or a couple favorite memories of your time there?
Yeah, absolutely. The game in 2022 where we got bowl eligible for the first time in 15 years, and obviously the bowl game coming from that, and this past year, beating Oklahoma at home, and then finally winning that bowl game after losing the bowl game the year before. I'd say those are probably my best memories from my time at KU.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know, you guys didn't win the Liberty Bowl, but that was still one of the craziest bowl games I think I've ever seen, period. One of the craziest games I've ever seen, period. So I thought that was, huge for the program just to show that fight, that was not, it didn't go perfect. And then you guys battled back and you should have won. But, to wrap up your career, though, beating I don't know why I'm blanking on UNLV. There we go. That was huge. So that was
Right.
awesome. But wanted to ask you, how has the pre-draft process treated you?
Just kind of taking everything in stride right now. I got to participate in the East West Shrine Bowl, and so got to meet with teams there, kind of see what feedback they had for me, and kind of try to apply that to what I'm doing in my training now that I'm obviously away from the game. But just a lot of nose to the grindstone, just kind of working to improve your pro day numbers, 40 numbers, all those agility drills, bench press, all those sorts of things, just so you can put up a good athletic profile for teams and hopefully get them excited.
And speaking about the Shrine Bowl, what was that experience like?
It was really good, finally, getting to speak with teams at bulk, because all 32 teams are obviously there. And so, like I said, getting a lot of feedback, but, getting to be around a lot of guys who, going through what you're going through right now. And, it's kind of, a shared experience. You get to kind of see their experience and what they've done in their college career and where they're training now. And but to get around some NFL coaches and get an NFL playbook going and kind of learning the intricacies of that and just like I said, playing against really good competition, the best competition I've faced so far, my football career. It's it was a really great experience and I'm really glad I got to participate in it.
Yeah, and Mason, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you're looking to become the first Jayhawk tight end to be drafted since Derek Fine in 2008. And what you might not even realize is you'd be the third tight end period since 1971 to be drafted out of KU. What does that mean to you as someone that spent 5 years there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, it's just a testament to how far this program's come, and hopefully this is just a trend for what's going to come for this program. Because there's a lot of great tight ends there right now that I think can definitely play at the next level, and hopefully this trend continues where there's guys looking to be drafted, and even if not drafted, have a great long career.
In playing at KU, you played against a lot of really tough competition. Is there anyone that you played against during your college career that stands out to you as being the toughest guy that you had to face?
Hmm. I mean, kind of the easy out for this past season was definitely just Texas in general. Obviously, playoff team, and obviously their whole defensive line. Just trying to block those guys was a challenge the entire day. But just their whole defense in general was obviously pretty good, and because it got them that far to the playoffs. So that'd probably be my one.
And what would you say is your biggest strength as a player?
Yeah, I'd say for me, it's my intelligence. I take pride in learning playbooks fast and learning intricacies of offenses, and I understand that special teams is something I need to do to stick on an NFL roster, and so I'm willing to learn any spot on special teams. I took up long snapping a little bit when I was at KU, just working with our snappers and just understanding that you have to have a large portfolio of skills that you can bring to a team in order to stick to a roster.
And as the draft has been approaching, has there been anything specific about your game that you've been looking to improve on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm training here at APEC in Fort Worth, and so I've been working with David Robinson down here, and he's worked with a lot of NFL guys, and obviously he's more of like a receivers coach, but really working on refined routes because at KU kind of my specialty was just running right down the seam wide open, not really running too complex of routes, but really working on hard cuts and running different routes that you'll be asked to run at the NFL level.
And gotta ask you this one. It's a little fun. Which quarterback do you want to catch a touchdown pass from the NFL in the NFL the most?
It might be a cliche answer, but just anyone because that means I got to that point in time. Because it's been a long dream for me since I was like 6 years old, wanting to play at this level. There's obviously a lot of great quarterbacks out there, and this place down here that I'm training at in APEC, that's where Patrick Mahomes trains at. And so he's obviously the best in the world right now. So obviously that'd be kind of an easy answer too.
Yeah, that's a pretty, I'd say, common answer is people just say anybody or they say Patrick Mahomes. That's been kind of, I think, the case this season. So
Yeah.
very, very good answer there. But we are Rams podcast, so we ask every draft prospect that comes on the show. At any point so far in the draft process, have you spoken to the Los Angeles Rams yet?
So kind of how I mentioned with the East West Shrine, how we met with teams kind of in bulk. We would kind of go into a room and there'd be 4 teams there, and you kind of go through the rounds just talking to teams. But so obviously, the Rams didn't really have people talking, like interviewing players. They kind of had some, like I think it was like a personality test or something along those lines there that everyone was taking. So I went and took my test and then kind of went back to where all the other guys were sitting at. So, but past that, no, I haven't talked much with the Rams.
Gotcha. That's interesting. Personality test. I don't know if I've heard that, but yeah, I think that's really just kind of how, most of those, the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl and all these college all-star games, it seems like they're all kind of clumped together. You like meet with a cluster of 4 teams and whatnot. So yeah, just, we figured we'd ask, but got to ask you this question here. You've probably been asked this before. Do you love to win more or hate to lose more?
You can ask my friends because I play Madden a lot right now, just because I have a lot of downtime with the training. But I absolutely hate losing. I love to win, but the hatred for losing, I think that gets me more than I love winning. But there's a lot of thrill I get from winning, so it's pretty well balanced.
I totally get it. Totally get that there. It's a tough question. We just ask it because our listeners like us to ask it, and we also know that a lot of NFL teams have started to ask that question as well. But Mason, just in closing here, in your own words, who is Mason Fairchild as a
Mhm.
player, and who is he as a person?
Yeah, as a player, as I mentioned it, a really smart, a really multiple person who can, like I said, do a lot of things. I think a lot of guys get this idea of themselves in a position where they, can't see themselves moving or doing other things other than what they see themselves as. Me, I'm not that. I'm not. It's not the case. I played tight end, but I can play H back. I can play fullback. I'm obviously not big enough, but if they wanted me to, I'd put on 50 pounds play O line if they really needed it. But yeah, as a player, just whatever it takes to stick to a roster, and then once I'm on that roster, it's whatever it takes to win. As a player, I'm very family oriented, or sorry, as a person, I'm very family oriented. When I'm away from the game, I'm usually with my fiance or with my family back home, just spend time relaxing, just because obviously football and everything associated with it's very chaotic. So just getting some time away to really relax and enjoy the company of your family. That's really who I am.
Well, that's awesome, Mason. Before we let you go, we got a 4-part question here. Kind of fun. We're just going to ask you for some recommendations on your way out. We need a recommendation for a movie, a TV show, a snack, and an album.
Okay. All right. TV show. You can ask all my friends. I talk about Breaking Bad nonstop, so I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan. So I'll say that for the show. For a movie, I mentioned Shrek earlier. I'll stay on the Shrek train. I'll say Shrek or Shrek 2. Those are two of my favorite movies. Maybe a
Classics.
little, like I said, just continue on the Shrek train. But I'm also, yep, absolutely. But Marvel. Not necessarily the new Marvel stuff, but like the kind of old Marvel stuff. Infinity War and Endgame. Those are two of my favorite movies as well. So those are also maybe a little cliche, but I think those are great movies. And for a snack, I guess I don't know. I kind of rave about the same things to my friends over and over again. So if they listen to this, they'll know it's they'll probably know what my answer is. I'm a huge Chili's guy, so I'm gonna say Chili's chips and salsa for a snack. I just there's just something about it that
Hmm.
just brings me back over and over again. And what was the last one?
An album.
An album. Hmm. You see, my taste in music is really, really all over the place. So I'll listen to like a lot of like hit songs, like one song here, one song there. But like I'm not gonna sit down and just listen to an entire album. But like I said, I have a wide range. I listen to country, I listen to old country, I listen to rap, I listen to rock and roll. Hmm. That's
You could recommend an
Can
artist if it's too hard.
Yeah.
I look at my music real quick just so I can give you a good
Oh yeah,
recommendation?
go right ahead.
Yeah. Go for it.
I will say because I have Apple Music, so like it keeps your statistics from the year before, and my most listened to from last year was Elvis. Believe it
Oh,
or
I like
not.
that.
Nice.
Yep, listen to Elvis. I like Creed. Maybe like I said, cliche, but um, in rap, got a little Rod Wave in there. I like a little Frank Sinatra.
I like that.
Hey, I
Yep.
love Frank.
Yep. And then like when I said old country, like Johnny Cash, that's probably my go-to with the old country stuff.
I like it.
Yep.
It's a good
Like I
mix.
said, very, very wide variety, but it's just, some songs you just turn on, it clicks. And so I just listen to those songs over and over again.
I get it. Alexis and I kind of obsess over those lists. I think we were setting them like each week last year. Like every week we're like, oh yeah, this is mine, or but I mean, hey, it didn't used to be like that. We didn't know what we listened to, however many times we listened to it. So now it's like, it keeps track. Love the Shrek answer. Breaking Bad, to be honest with you, I loved the first episode. I have not watched it since. I've been very busy. So I need to get into that. So
Absolutely.
this is a sign that at some point after the draft, obviously, because we got a lot of work to do, but after the draft, I'll try to get into it.
Perfect. That's what I like to hear.
Absolutely. I'll have to get back to you on my thoughts on that.
And then after he finishes it, he's then gonna watch all the Shreks in that order.
I love Shrek. I mean, I think Shrek's so underrated.
Rewatch party.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll rewatch Shrek. I think I've seen that. It's kind of like, I don't know if you feel the same about like Elf, but I've seen Elf over like 100 times. And like Shrek, I think I've seen over 100 times, like easily. So yeah, it's one of those movies. It's always on. That's the thing. Like, if somebody has like their TV, it always is on. So, and you can't turn off a movie like that.
No, absolutely not.
So.
Well, Mason, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. We know it's a busy time, so we appreciate you making time in your busy schedule to come on the show. And we will be cheering you on no matter where you go. We wish you the best of luck. We hope that you stay healthy and just enjoy the process. We're about a month and a half away from the draft now, so it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for having me on again. I really appreciate it and really enjoyed this conversation.
Absolutely, Mason. Definitely stay in touch. We're going to be rooting for you. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be rooting for you because, Rock Chalk, of course. But no, just appreciate all the contributions to KU. It doesn't go unnoticed. I want to say that as somebody that's, watched all the games, from, like I said, no wins to 9 wins. It doesn't go unnoticed, your contributions. And I love that, little mention at the end where you're like, yeah, I'll just, I'm just running those wide open, seams over the middle. But hey, no one could stop you, right? Like, why do they leave you wide open? I mean, you get open, you make the catch. It's like leaving that guy open, from 3. If he drills the 3, why do you keep leaving him open?
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
No, I love it. And, I'm excited for you, man. It's a fun process that you're going through right now. And regardless, whatever team you go to, however you get there, I mean, it's your story and, it's going to be based on how you write it. So I'm really excited to follow your journey, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thank you. Take care.
You as well.